Okay, I wrote this letter to Arthur as he retired from years and years of being a volunteer with Isla Vista Youth Projects. And I wrote it in 2019. And then I reread it after he passed, and I thought, damn, that's pretty good. I still like this letter, so I revised it a little bit for this celebration of Arthur. So I first met Arthur in 1985 when he was part of an interview panel for a head teacher at the Children's Center. And there I sat, a much younger version of me, still long hair, interviewing to join the IVYP team. Arthur didn't ask many questions, but the ones he asked were thoughtful and hard. I knew right away he had a keen sense of people and that he could see right through any BS. I was hired, and that began my 33-year adventure in Isla Vista, with Arthur figuring prominently through it. Sidebar here, when I took a tour of the Children's Center, there was a huge cage along the door as you first walked in, full of rabbits. So, you all know, because you're fans of Arthur, that there is an unexpectedness, an unknowingness to him. And I think he liked it that way. He was a man of few words until he wasn't. I learned he was an excellent listener, and don't be fooled by his silence. He would eventually speak up, surprise people with his bluntness and honesty, and then he'd lapse back into listening. Beneath that crusty surface, he had a heart of gold. But it wasn't given just to be nice. He had a razor-sharp BS indicator, and he wasn't afraid to use it. It's safe to say that I personally felt both his wrath and his support, often at the same time. He could bring me to tears, but mostly he brought me to laughter. I watched Arthur dedicate 33 years to IVYP and to the children in Isla Vista. His tenure with the agency predated and then extended beyond my tenure. As a founding member, he helped shape IVYP to where it is today, over 50 years later. He spent many days laying floor, building walls, coordinating improvement projects, putting in playgrounds, bookkeeping, creating policy, guiding the agency as a board member, fixing things, and raising money. When we were raising money to purchase the Children's Center, I watched him ask for thousands of dollars during our capital campaign without batting an eye. I watched him donate his time, talent, and treasure. He worked almost full-time as a volunteer board member for the youth projects. And this was in addition to all of his other volunteer or elected involvement with the Food Co-op, Ivy Recs and Parks District, Ivy Redevelopment Agency, Ivy Community Services District, and probably many more. In his interview with The Independent as a local hero, he was asked why he was so involved in the Isla Vista community. And he just nonchalantly replied, and this is a quote, "It's where I live. It occurred to me there were things to be done, and there were things I could do, so I did them." What a lasting gift and legacy he has given. So from Arthur, I learned many things. Over on the table, there's a basket and a sheet of some Arthurisms. So if you have some funny things that you remember about Arthur, please fill it out and leave it in there. It means a lot to his family and friends. But here's some things I learned. I learned how to be real to myself and to others. Arthur didn't care at all what anyone thought of him. He spoke his truth, and sometimes it hurt. He swore like a sailor, and he taught me some words. I learned how to respect and love. I watched Arthur compassionately respect the less fortunate, the houseless, with no judgment. A kind smile, an acknowledgement, some cash. I watched him love the earth and our world when he picked up trash, insisting that staff recycle and compost, swept up and cleaned. I watched him love our country enough to speak up and out, support causes he believes in, volunteer at voting places, and work to help leave a world worthy and safe for children. I learned how to cherish and adore. I watched Arthur walk with a tantruming 4-year-old and soothe a crying baby. He earned the nickname the Baby Whisperer for a reason. And actually, Julia and Aaron are here, and he was quite the baby whisperer to their daughter. He reminded me to cherish their tears and emotions, to adore their sometimes unlovable selves. Sometimes when I was at the end of my rope, Arthur simply gave me a hug, rolled up his sleeves, and got to work. And by the way, Arthur gave real hugs. None of that A-frame pat, pat, pat on the back. You knew you'd been hugged when you received one, and he gave them freely to many people. Here's some other things I learned. Raw garlic is the cure to everything. It was quite a challenge to walk into the office some days. Ivy Drip has the best ice cream in Isla Vista. Nonstop has the best naan and dal. The Co-op makes killer sandwiches, kale salads, and also carries those delicious Uncle Eddie vegan peanut butter chocolate chip cookies, which I could eat the whole bag. IPAs are delicious, especially when you share with friends. Goleta Sushi House is the best, hands down. Enjoy good food and drink, but not too much. Leave your car at home, ride your bike. Your body needs to move, so play some basketball or whatever it is that moves you. Send political commentaries to your friends, even if sometimes they don't appreciate or agree with them. Make silly noises, leave interesting voice message prompts. Life should be fun. At the end of this letter to Arthur, upon his retirement from full-time volunteering, I encouraged him to turn in his keys, shut off the IVYP email, erase the to-do list. No more spreadsheets, thank God. Board minutes, bookkeeping, 1,000 other things he did, he was done. Instead, I hoped that Arthur would enjoy his garden, its flowers, and sun baths. He and I took Tuesdays with Arthur walks around the community, minimizing his house and yard, which by the way does not mean cleaning. Spending time with his grandsons and family. He adored you all. He adored you. Happy hours, beers to drink, sometimes with Phil and I. Gaucho basketball to watch and cheer. Sushi dinners to eat with friends. Radio shows to listen to. Good music to play and enjoy. Causes to support. Candidates to hold accountable. Good books. And time to rest and relax. To give his body a chance to catch up with his soul. I think he successfully did these things and many more. I'm grateful for his many, many years of service to Isla Vista, to children and families, to our country, to our earth. But mostly, I'm so very grateful that our paths crossed that day in 1985. I gained not only employment, but a very dear friend. So rest in peace and power, Arthur. I will always think of you when I smell a Double Delight rose, see a sunflower, eat sushi, cook with garlic, and enjoy the simple love of life.